You don't have to present yourself in a stereotypical professional way to make money in your business or through your content. I'm Edeline, owner and graphic designer of Edeline Brand Design with 4 years of experience, bubbly and making money. Through this podcast, I'll help you be and stay your quirky self. Too many people are stripping the personality out of their brand. Don't let it be you. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining me today. I'm excited to talk to you guys about my journey as a graphic designer. This is going to be a continuation of my trailer. If you watched my trailer, you'll know that I have a lot of stories to tell. There have been a lot of ups and downs. I'm excited to share more of this with you because I know that it's going to help someone continue. And my journey proves that the more you stay true to yourself, the better life gets. So, why the continuation? Well, this podcast is about being your authentic self through your business and content. And so you guys have to actually know me very well in order to understand why this is so important. And I want to encourage you. I know that testimonies help so much. It's easier to relate to someone when you know their full story. So now it's time to set the stage. I was a 4-year-old girl when I started school. My parents put me in an early childhood development program. That's when things started to go downhill for me. Because, when you're a child, everyone loves you, everyone thinks you're so cute. And then when you get around other kids, it's like, wow, you get to, well, at least for me, you get to get a glimpse of the real world. I went that first day. I had high expectations that everyone was going to love me. Things are going to be great. I'm going to meet friends and it'll be great. And that's not what happened. That was the first time I realized that I was chosen. What do I mean by chosen? Person who is meant to do great things. And so that comes with a lot of challenges and that comes with a lot of people disliking you. That is what I've learned that day because I saw a couple girls. They were friends, they were just hanging out, holding hands. I kind of just thought that if I just went in there and I tried to hold one of their hands and join in, things would be fine. That was not the case. But yeah, I held on to one of the hands. The girl immediately let go. And I, but that didn't work out so well. And I think there was a woman there. I don't know if she was a teacher or she was one of the parents. She just told me to just forget about it, which I thought was weird because usually when a child wants to join in and play, they'll encourage the other kids to play with them, but that was not the case. So I think that was definitely one sign that I was chosen. And then as the years go by, no one really wanted to talk to me. I was just considered the weird kid. It was just because they simply didn't like me. I tried to hang out with them. I tried to introduce myself. I tried to even act like them. It just didn't work out. They didn't want anything to do with me. I remember one time there was a trip, a school trip, and we had to partner up and hold hands. And I remember there was one kid, he was my partner. He did not want to hold my hand. He was like, man, why do I have to partner with her? I don't want to hold her hand. I didn't even do anything to this guy. And to be honest, I was pretty quiet. And that is my life story, by the way. I am the person that doesn't bother anyone, but people bother me. That is another sign that you are chosen. Another thing that was difficult was that I felt very alone. The teachers, they were okay, but they were stressed all the time, so I just wasn't getting a lot of affection in that school. And to make things worse, I was living with a family member who bullied me. I was just feeling very unwanted everywhere I went. I'm not angry with that family member anymore. They apologized, so everything's good. But yeah, it was a very difficult time for me. So when I started kindergarten, this continued. It got worse. Not only was I unliked, but I was bullied, usually by boys, which was weird. What helped me was that I had pets. I had birds mostly, but birds have actually really helped me feel less alone because they're always cheerful and they don't judge you. For that, I'm always thankful for animals. Things got better in high school and middle school. I found friends and things were great for a while. I never really just fully fit in, you know what I mean? I still stood out because, for example, we all listened to rock music and metal, but even with that, there were some differences. They prefer metalcore, I prefer the old school stuff. They played video games. I was more of a casual gamer. They were nerds. I wasn't. I was a lot of things. I had a lot of interests. So I loved makeup. I was athletic. Most of them, not so much. So things like that still caused a divide. And there were some that were closer with each other than me. That can be a problem because if one of them decides they don't like me anymore, the whole group don't like me. It's weird. That is another problem that I always encounter because sometimes people decide that they like me and then out of nowhere due to jealousy and insecurity, they decide, okay, I don't like you anymore. And then out of nowhere, they like me again. People always have a strong opinion of me. That's another sign of being chosen. People will always have a strong opinion about you. It doesn't matter if you keep to yourself or not. I actually got along with everyone, because I had a lot of interests. But of course, that wasn't the case with others. So all of these experiences really prove that I was destined for more. It's weird how that works, but when you're destined for something big, you are going to have some complicated relationships. It's like people will be obsessed with you. So in high school is when I realized I wanted to be a graphic designer. There was a project for algebra. We had to choose a career. We had to find out how much money we'll earn in that career, and we had to budget. And so that really forced me to find out what is it that I really wanted to do. I knew I always wanted to do something creative because I've always been a creative person. I thought back to times when me and my mom would ride the subway. I talked about this in my trailer, but I would be obsessed with the ads. I would think to myself, like, how do they do that? How do they create these things? I love photo manipulation. I love how you can manipulate photos using Photoshop. And I really wanted to learn how to do that. I wanted to learn anything dealing with that. And then that's when I found out there was a name for that in high school. And then from there, I was like obsessed with graphic design. And I kept looking up how do I become a great graphic designer. I remember I tried really hard to do well in geometry because I heard that that might help. I remember crying because I did well in the regions, but I wanted to do even better. I took that as a sign that maybe I would be a bad graphic designer. So that's how bad I really wanted to be great at it. I wasn't very good at self teaching, and my school didn't offer graphic design classes. So I tried my best to come up with a portfolio. In my senior year of high school, I went to a portfolio review that was in a university hours from me. A lot of the reviewers were very nice. They told me that I had strong ideas, but I didn't quite have the fundamentals there. There was one reviewer, however, he was very rude. Because of his comments, that was the first time I experienced imposter syndrome. But before we get to him, I have an amazing offer that I'd love to share with you guys. This is my social vlog package, and it is for quirky business owners and content creators who want to increase their brand awareness and or loyalty. The package includes a full logo suite. If you don't know what a logo suite is, it's a main logo, secondary logo, sub-marked logo, and black and white variations of each. A main logo is used for when you have a lot of space, such as a social media post. A secondary logo is used for when you have limited space, limited vertical space, such as the nav bar on your website. A sub-marked logo is when you have even smaller space, such as the bottom right hand corner of your YouTube video. In addition, you'll also receive 3 marketing materials of your choosing. I offer a variety of digital print and social materials. If you want to look at that list, check out my website at alignbranddesign.com. Finally, you'll receive 5 Instagram or Facebook story highlight covers. And you'll receive a brand style guide to help you understand how to use your new designs. And it'll walk you through on all the information you need about your brand. In total, you'll receive 17 designs and over 100 files to help you soar. And I can't wait to work with you. All you have to do is go to my website at Align Brand Design and fill out my contact form. Let's flock together. Now back to the story. So as soon as I went there, he already had a bad attitude, a bad look on his face. As soon as I sat down, he says, "Hey, how are you?" I said, "Hey, I'm fine. How are you?" And then he goes, "So, how long have you wanted to be a graphic designer?" I said, "Since ninth grade." And he said, "Uh-huh, so not that long." So then he starts looking at my portfolio. After reviewing it and after I explained my process through it and my ideas, he told me, like everyone else, I had good ideas, but I just don't have the fundamentals. He said, there must be somewhere you can learn. I don't think that this is how you'll get in. And then he did mention the truth, which is that I do have potential, but you're just not there yet. He said all of this with such a rude tone. It's like he was disgusted with me. I was surprised that he told the truth at the end. I really was. Like many greats, there's always people trying to discourage them. Now looking back, I'm sure he just didn't want to get in trouble, so maybe that's why he softened it up a little bit at the end. That discouraged me for a while. It made me feel like maybe I suck. Due to that rejection and also being rejected from some colleges, that led to some fear getting in me and making some interesting choices involving what school I decided to go to. My mom did not want me to go to a school that's far away. I also had some fear of my own of getting rejected again. So I actually went to a school that did not offer graphic design. Part of it was my fault for not doing enough research. I was told by a representative that they do offer graphic design, but what they meant was that they had classes. They did not have the degree. When it was time for me to choose a major, I noticed that it wasn't there, so I just chose art history. I thought maybe it was a glitch or something. But then after talking to a representative on the phone, that's when they let me know. And it was too late at that moment that they did not offer it. In the end, I grew attached to the school anyway, and I was afraid of getting rejected. So I thought maybe I'll just stay here for a while. I still can be a graphic designer based on the research that I've made. I thought with art history, I'll have an advantage anyway. So I stayed with the major for about 2 years, and then I decided to move on to communication with a concentration in advertising, hoping that will help. It did help a little bit, and I learned a lot. However, it was focused more on the research behind advertising. So honestly, I did get a little bored. But through my digital media art minor, I did finally get some graphic design classes that helped a lot. And that's when things got interesting because I met my boyfriend online and my love story actually got intertwined with this whole ordeal. We met on Instagram, and then after a while, I visited him in his state. We were a long distance couple with thousands of miles between us. Those 3 weeks just flew by. I cried when I had to leave. I didn't even want to go back home. When I was in the airport, I just burst into tears. It just happened. Like I couldn't even control it. Some months flew by. He decided to move in with me. Things were very difficult at the time because I was still a college student. So eventually he moved back, but I decided that I was going to move to his state. And so I had to leave my college. That move actually helped me find a school that offered graphic design, and I didn't need a portfolio anyway. So things actually worked out for the best. Even though I took a big detour, I can say that I've learned a lot, especially when it comes to research, that I'm sure has helped me in my journey as a graphic designer. So, of course, there were some people who felt me moving was a bad idea, which is usually a big sign that you should definitely go there. You should definitely do the thing that people are saying, oh, logically, that doesn't make sense. I went and I continued my degree. I finished. There were some challenges ahead. I did have a hard time finding a job. So for a while, I was very stuck. But then I remembered there was a class I took that really made me love brand design. We had to create our own brand. I had a lot of fun. And while I was taking that class, I did think about possibly starting my own business. Due to the experiences of not finding a job, I thought, why don't I just go ahead and do this? This might actually be a sign that I need to actually start a business. And then as time went on, there were more and more signs from God that this is what I needed to do. It was difficult, definitely, and I wanted to have a strong portfolio. So it did take me a year to start the business. I did a lot of preparation. I wanted to have a strong portfolio as well as design my own website and code it. I've learned coding from one of my classes. I decided to take the information from that class, use the resources that I can find on the internet, and get this thing started. I did. And a year later, Edeline Brand Design was born on December 27, 2022. And what's amazing is that December 27, I don't remember which year specifically, but December 27 was the date that Paramore was born. So because of that, Paramore reminds me of my business and is quite a special band. That's why sometimes I use their songs on my posts on Instagram. I have to also give a big shout out to God because He has helped me throughout this whole business, trying to get everything started, deciding what to do, deciding which colors to use. Like, He is honestly the best business coach. Big shout out to Him. There's no way that I would be able to do any of this if it wasn't for Him. He is the one who told me to start this podcast as well, to start a blog, to start YouTube, all of this. I know some people don't like to hear about God, but I have to give credit where credit is due. So, throughout my brand, you can see snippets of my personality while also speaking to my target audience. If you haven't seen my brand, of course, check out my website. My mascot is a bird. Like I mentioned earlier, birds have always been there for me. I have Miami colors going on to match my bubbly personality. Plus, I just love the 80s. You've got electric songs, just like the song I used for this podcast. The song has a dark wave feel to match my goth style. It was hard to mix all of those ideas together, but once again, God helped me through that, and we created something amazing. So now you know the whole story, and I gave you an idea of how to add your personality to your brand. I really hope that this gets you thinking for your own brand. Thanks for joining me today. Follow me on social media for brand, content creation, and general business content. Links are in the description. I'll be flocking with you next time on Eccentric Brands Flock.